Warning: the games we're about to discuss should never be played under any circumstances. The real-world outcomes, both psychologically and spiritually, can be incredibly dangerous, disturbing, and in some cases, fatal. This video is purely for educational purposes, with the rules presented as the original instructions tell them. Whether they work as described, that's up to you to judge. You've been warned. Originating from Indonesia, Jelangkung is a truly terrifying game, the results of which led to a very serious police investigation in 2019. According to those who've dared to dabble, if played within the sacred walls of a religious temple, the Jelangkung game will summon only good spirits. But step outside, and you might find yourself welcoming entities of a much darker nature. The setup is simple. You create an effigy either by tying sticks together to form a cross-shaped set of shoulders, or using a wicker basket as the body, over which you drape a shirt. Some folks add a coconut shell for a head, or a doll's head, though this is optional. According to Indonesian folklore, any figure resembling a human provides a portal for spirits to enter our world. So, the moment the ritual begins, the effigy stops being just a prop and becomes something much more sinister, a vessel for a spirit. After a pencil or pen has also been attached to the base of the effigy, tip pointing down, and some candies and incense have been laid out nearby as an offering, the games can begin. By candlelight, set a piece of paper on the floor, and with another person, gently hold the doll in an upright position, ideally only using one hand each, with the pen or pencil's nib touching the paper. Then a mantra is chanted. Jelangkung, Jelangkung, play here for a moment. If the summoning is successful, the effigy will start to move, and will begin writing answers to questions with its pencil. When the players are ready to end the game, they must bid the spirit farewell and wait until they're absolutely certain the effigy has stopped moving. Only then, the game is over. If they end before the movement ceases, the spirits may stick around. While Jelangkung is occasionally played by kids around East and Southeast Asia, many folks are strongly opposed. In fact, the ritual made Indonesian headlines in 2019 after a Jelangkung effigy was found in a house in the city of Depok. Eerily, a passing motorcyclist had heard screaming coming from the abandoned property, but when he went inside, it was empty, save for the effigy left on the floor. Exhibiting how seriously this kind of thing is taken in Indonesia, several men were questioned by police on suspicion of creating the effigy, alongside other claims of black magic-related items left in the home. Practicing black magic can land you multiple years in Indonesian prison, though in this case, no one was ultimately charged as the culprit. So if for no other reason than to avoid a visit from Indonesian police, maybe best to leave this game unplayed, huh? This next game, known as the Three Kings Ritual, originated online, and it chills me to the bone. The steps are complex and reportedly must be followed precisely in order to work. Now, just quickly, a reminder. Please make damn well sure you never actually play the games I'm describing here. We'll see more of why that's so important soon enough. Don't say I didn't warn you. Now, the Three Kings Ritual is performed in a dark, spacious room. You'll need the following: candles, a bucket of water, a mug, a fan, 2 large mirrors, 3 chairs, an alarm clock, a cell phone, and a sentimental item that will become your safe object. You'll also need a partner available outside the room in case things go wrong. Place one of the chairs facing north, with the other chairs positioned at its left and right side facing it. These are the thrones. You will sit on the one in the middle, and the queen and the fool, whatever they might be, will occupy the others. Place the mirrors on the chairs and properly align them until you see your reflection on both mirrors within the corners of your eyes. The fan must be behind the middle chair. When sitting in the middle chair, your body should shield the breeze from blowing the candle out. This is an important precaution because if things go wrong, or your body is forcefully moved by something during the game, the fan will hopefully blow out the candle to stop the ritual. Finally, place the bucket and your chosen cup or mug on the floor in front of the throne. These are for your partner to splash you with, in case they need to enter the room. but find they can't snap you out of whatever trance you might end up in. Once you've finished setting up, leave the room with the door open and go to your bedroom. Put candles on each side of the bed, charge your phone, and sleep with your chosen safe object, the usage of which will become apparent later. Remember to wake up at exactly 3:30 a.m. Upon waking up, check for red flags like the game room's door being closed. Abort the ritual and leave immediately if you notice this. If the conditions are met, sit on the first chair, light the candle, and look directly in front of you. You must be sat in the chair by 3:33 a.m. Now, the game begins. And once you're satisfied you're no longer alone, you can ask any questions you deeply desire the answer to. But there's a huge caveat. Do not at any point, no matter how tempting, look directly into either of the mirrors. The person who originally shared this ritual did not specify why, but I think we can trust that it's nothing pleasant. The game should end naturally at 4:34 a.m. But if you need to terminate it sooner, aside from the game-ending methods I mentioned earlier, if all else fails, fall back on your safety object. Concentrating intently on its familiar appearance should bring you back to reality and help you ignore anything else that might be fighting for your attention. So has anyone actually tried the Three Kings ritual? Yep. A surprising number. In fact, the original post spawned an entire subreddit devoted to DIY user-generated paranormal games like this. One Redditor, Renegade2366, attempted the Three Kings ritual in his dad's dark and dank basement. Sitting between two mirrors with his candle, he immediately felt an eerie presence. Shadows shifted, and the reflections in the mirrors moved independently, almost as if they were reaching out for him. Soon he heard faint murmuring that turned into two clear voices, one hostile from the left, one calm from the right. The left voice targeted his guilt and tried to lure him closer as knocks, breaths, and ticking echoed around him. When the fan behind him suddenly stopped, he panicked, dropped the candle, and fled. All the while, his girlfriend waiting outside heard absolutely nothing. YouTuber Sam Golbach tried it too and experienced some super unnerving things, like the closet door opening on its own, hearing voices,
oh God, I can't look. I'm not supposed to look. I could have sworn I heard a voice from here.
and one of the mirrors falling over.
Yo, whoa, whoa, oh!
Now, whether there's any legitness to any of that, I'll leave up to you, and we'll delve into some possible fascinating explanations a little later, but it's certainly not a game you should rush to try, if you want your sanity left intact. Have you ever used a Ouija board? Well, I certainly hope you haven't, because as we're about to see, the real-world results can be unimaginably horrific. Probably the most famous of all paranormal games, the Ouija board originated in 1890 in Baltimore from the Kennard Novelty Company. During a seance held that year with medium Helen Peters Nosworthy, an early prototype of the seance word board reportedly spelt out the name Ouija. When asked what it meant, it answered, "Good luck." The name stuck, and the talking board was patented on the 10th of February, 1891. The board's popularity soared, even becoming the first patented game to outsell Monopoly. Playing Ouija requires 2 or more people. Ensure you play in a quiet, dark room and remove all distractions. Once everything is set up, the players should both place 2 fingers on the planchette and wait for the spirits to arrive. Once contact is made with the spirit, the planchette should start moving by itself. You are now free to ask them any questions during this time. Make sure to be super polite and let the spirit answer your questions at its own pace, as it moves the planchette over letters to spell out words or simply landing on yes or no. Be warned, if you aggravate the spirit in any way, it could lead to dire consequences. We'll delve into those truly horrifying consequences momentarily, but if you wish to end the game, tell the spirits and wait for them to bid you goodbye. Shooting the board to end the game is not advised. According to experienced players, Ouija board spirits are mostly kind and reserved, but there are violent spirits who will enact swift punishment on those who bother their slumber. As always, risks are present to those who play these games, as seen in the haunting case of Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro. This tragic tale begins in Madrid, 1991, when Estefania and her friends used a Ouija board to contact spirits, but what started as an innocent game quickly spiraled into a terrifying nightmare. After the seance, Estefania began experiencing strange phenomena. At first, it was odd noises from inside the walls, knocking and scratching, and objects started moving on their own. Then, Estefania herself began to change. She reportedly spoke in an unrecognizable voice and started displaying violent, unnatural, and maybe even inhuman behavior. She also began experiencing hallucinations, hours-long periods of total unresponsiveness, known as catatonia, insomnia, and seizures, which usually occurred after screaming that something was attacking her. Doctors were baffled and couldn't explain her condition. Eventually, Estefania was hospitalized, and tragically, she passed away shortly after, with the official cause of death listed as pulmonary asphyxia due to convulsions. But many suspected the Ouija board had cursed her. While there may be rational explanations for the disturbing workings of Ouija and similar games, which we'll delve into later, the most unsettling thing is that Estefania's spine-chilling story didn't end there. Even after her death, her family reported eerie activity. Crucifixes flipped upside down, doors opening and closing on their own, glass shattering for no apparent reason, and disembodied voices. Most eerily, however, was when a photo of Estefania abruptly set on fire out of nowhere. On top of that, one particularly activity-filled night resulted in the first and only police report in Spain to document paranormal activity, including doors slamming on their own, loud noises from vacant rooms, and a crucifix thrown across the room by an unseen force. Remarkably, the officers involved have reiterated unexplainable goings-on in several interviews in the years since. This disturbing case has become infamous in Spain, even inspiring the 2017 Spanish horror film Veronica. So could Estefania's story be indication of psychosis or an even deeper medical condition, which the stress and anxiety of the board game triggered? All we know for sure is her downward spiral happened after she played the game. So whether the ensuing horrors were psychological or legitimately supernatural, let it serve as a warning to all considering dabbling in Ouija. Thought to have been a pagan ritual back in the day, the Midnight Game is one of the riskiest games to play, as the punishment for failing the game may result in fatal consequences. To begin the game, you need the following items: a candle, a piece of paper, a box of matches, a sewing needle, and some salt. To start the game, write your full name on the paper, then add a droplet of the bodily fluid of your choice next to the name. Turn all the lights off and place the paper in front of the room's closed door. Now, light the candle and knock on the door exactly 22 times, with the final knock occurring at exactly 12 a.m. Once done, open the door, blow out the candle, then close the door again. Be warned, the Midnight Man should now be in the room. Immediately light your candle and constantly move from room to room in your home to avoid the Midnight Man. Should your candle's fire go out, relight it within 10 seconds of extinguishing. If you don't manage to relight it, make a circle of salt on the floor and stand there until 3:33 a.m. Do not leave the spot, and do not try to provoke the Midnight Man in any way. Should you do either, the Midnight Man will find you and trap you for hours in a hallucination of your greatest fears, resulting in severe mental scarring or even death. By some accounts, in severe circumstances, he will remove your organs one at a time. One Redditor documented his and his friend's experience playing the Midnight Game. After completing the opening ritual, just after midnight, the pair crept through the dark house, candles trembling in their hands. At first, it felt like a joke, until the whispering started. Between their own conversation, they began to catch snippets of someone else talking, very briefly, from an unknown source. It was only when they wandered into the bathroom that the true horrors began. On entering the chilly bathroom, in the dim light of the candles, they saw it. Something tall, vaguely human-shaped, and veiled in shadow was standing in the bathtub, motionless, half peeking out from behind the shower curtain. Terrified but trapped in the rules of the game which demanded constant movement, they rushed out into other rooms. Thoroughly spooked by the sight in the bathroom, they went to grab their only protection, salt. For that, they had to enter the bedroom, where they witnessed, to their horror, another blur-faced, ghostly figure looming on the bed, its head slowly rotating towards them. The pair fled in terror, but as they rushed into a decrepit back room downstairs, a chunk of rotten ceiling crashed down onto them, and their candles went out soon after. Panicked to their core, they surrounded themselves in a circle of salt and remained there, listening to whispers circling them in the dark until 3:33 a.m. came at last. For days afterwards, both suffered vivid, grotesque nightmares. However accurate their report may be, their final warning was simple: never play the midnight game. Some doors should never be opened. Our next paranormal game, the closet game, is not just a test of bravery in the face of unimaginable horrors. It's also a test of your willpower to not look behind you when you know something is waiting there in the darkness. Here's how it supposedly goes. You dim the lights, step into your closet, and shut the door behind you. Then, you just stand there. No phone, no light, just you in the dark for 2 solid minutes. When the silence starts to feel a little too heavy, you take out a single match, hold it up in front of you, and say, "Show me the light or leave me in darkness." That's when things are meant to get weird. Some people claim they feel a cold breath on the back of their neck. Others swear they've felt a tap on the shoulder, or even heard a low, coaxing voice, like something in there with them trying to draw their attention. If anything like that happens, the rules say that you must strike that match immediately, and no matter what you do, do not turn around. Because if you do, the story goes that whatever you've invited in will grab you and drag you straight to hell. If you manage to not freak out, you're supposed to slowly open the door and step out, keeping the match burning the whole time. Once you're out and the flame dies on its own, the ritual is considered over. But here's the catch. The entity you've summoned might decide to stay behind in the closet. So from then on, you're warned to keep those closet doors firmly shut at night, just in case. One Redditor played the closet game and lived to share the spooky tale. Muffin Tay was chilling out at her 15th birthday sleepover when one of the 3 girls she had invited proposed they play the closet game. Not wanting to look like a chicken, Muffin Tay agreed to participate. One by one, the girls entered the closet with their candles returning uneasy, but overall, pretty okay. So Muffin Tay thought, hey, this is probably fake, right? So she volunteered to enter the closet next. She took a deep breath and pushed the closet door open. It was eerily cold in the closet. Shivers ran down her spine. Then, after 2 minutes of silent trembling, she whispered,
"Show me the light or leave me in darkness."
At first, nothing happened, and she felt a surge of relief throughout her body. However, just as she was about to utter the words again, she felt something that completely paralyzed her. Cold, hard fingertips brushed against her arm. Her hair stood on end, and she fought the temptation to turn around with everything she had. That's when she heard it, whispering. Vague, wordless whispers. Terrified, she fumbled for the match, almost unable to light it due to her shaking. Once lit, she hurried out of the closet to her expectant friends. One remained skeptical, the last to enter the closet. She went on in without a trace of fear on her face, but instead of the couple of minutes the other girls had spent in the closet, the skeptic was in there for a whole 7. When she finally burst through the door, she slammed it shut behind her. Her eyes were huge, full of terror, as if she'd seen something she could never erase. And she seemed oddly surprised to see her friends waiting beyond the door. She struggled to speak, just about managing to say she was unwell and wanted to go home. The other girls were perplexed. What had she seen in the closet that they hadn't? As the shell-shocked friend parted, she grasped Muffin Tay, whispering a cryptic, blood-chilling phrase.
"It is better to be left in darkness than to see their light."
Those final words had a lasting effect on Muffin Tay, because she never saw that girl again. Now, it's worth noting, Muffin Tay's tale was posted on the Reddit No Sleep forum, where the lines of fiction and fact are often blurred. And if there is truth to it, some explanation, at least for the feeling of fingers brushing their arm in the closet, may be offered by the fact that tactile hallucinations do happen. As an example, have you ever felt your phone vibrate in your pocket only to find there's no notification? Either way, I certainly got goosebumps, and I can say for sure, I am never playing the closet game. An equally unsettling game can be found in the slumber party classic, Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board. This game involves one person lying flat on the floor with their eyes closed and their arms crossed like a dummy. Everyone else circles around, kneeling close. Dim the lights, and have everyone put only 2 fingers underneath the middle person. At this point, a chosen leader will begin recounting a short imaginary tale of the middle person's demise. It'll go something like this. She's looking ill. She's looking worse. She's dying. She's dead. Once the story's over, everyone joins in with the rhythmic chant, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Repeat it in a focused, hypnotic unison, light as a feather, stiff as a board. As the group hits a shared trance-like rhythm, everyone lifts upward at the exact same moment. If everything's gone right, the person in the middle will be lifted with impossible ease and may even linger, floating weightlessly before returning to the ground. Now, this one's quite unique in that if you have enough people surrounding the person and their fingers are spaced out just right, the sudden upward force can genuinely lift the person momentarily, thanks to the fact that the person's weight is distributed relatively evenly over a wide array of points. It's a very real example of many hands make light work, but it's still an unsettling thing to see, and some folks insist the lift can still occur even with an impossibly tiny number of people. That is, if you're aided by forces from beyond. Ever wanted to visit the back rooms? Well, there might just be a way. Originating in Korea and Japan, the elevator game is said to take you to another world. To play this game, you need to go to a building with an elevator that has at least 10 floors. You must enter the elevator alone. Once you've entered, press the floor buttons in the sequence 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5, riding to each floor. On the 5th floor, a woman will enter and stand behind you. It is important that you do not look at her, no matter how tempting.
Look behind you. I said, look behind you.
She is not what she seems, and she is certainly not a person. If you do look at her or respond to anything she says or asks, she may take you as her own. Now press the button for the 1st floor, and if successful, the elevator will bring you back to the 10th floor instead. Exit the floor immediately and do not look back. You are now at the other world, a place where you are the only one present, where there's almost no light save for a faint red glow. To end the game, enter the same elevator and redo the entire sequence. Once you arrive on the 1st floor, check your surroundings first before exiting the elevator. Should you notice anything out of the ordinary, close the elevator immediately and keep pressing the 1st floor button. Leave the elevator once you are sure that you have left the other world. Do not look back. Several YouTube personalities have tried their hand at playing this game, while others were able to return safely to the real world. Some have had experiences that made them regret the decision to play the game. According to these guys, the emergency rescue phone was activated in the elevator without them pressing it.
Yo, why does it keep opening? Guys, the elevator just start calling by itself? Yo, what if the...
Call in progress.
Oh my god. Bro, let's just get out of here.
Was it a system glitch from all the button pressing? Some clickbait shenanigans? Or something else? You be the judge. Hitori Kakurenbo, literally meaning hide and seek alone in Japanese, is a game where you play hide and seek with a doll. It doesn't take much imagination to see how insanely creepy this game can get. To play this game, you must have the following items: a doll, rice, fingernail clippings, a red thread, a knife, and some salt water. To begin, wait till nightfall. Give the doll a name, then cut it open and replace its contents with rice and nail clippings, and sew it back up with the red thread. Then place it in a bathtub or sink full of water, and say out loud, "For the first game, I'm going to be it 3 times. Now run around the house turning off the lights as you go, then close your eyes and count to 10. Next, you need to grab your knife and return to the bathroom. Shout, "I found you" 3 times and stab the doll. Well done, you survived the first game, but it's not over yet. It's time for the second round, the doll's turn to go seek. So, tell the doll it is now it 3 times. Now, whatever you do, make sure you have a glass of salt water or sake with you in your hiding place. You must rush quickly out of the room to hide, and once you are hidden, this is when things might start to get creepy. Players have reported sounds of footsteps, foul smells, changes in temperature, and having the TV suddenly switch on and off, with the volume dramatically changing. In extreme cases, there have been reports of being touched or tugged and house pets behaving erratically. Whatever you do not leave your hiding spot until sunrise. To end the game, you must hold as much salt water and sake in your mouth as possible until you return to the bathroom. Be warned, the doll may not be where you left it. Sometimes the doll might have removed the knife from its body, or rarely, gone missing completely. You must find the doll, and once you do, spit the salt water or sake all over it and tell it 3 times, "I win." Do not forget about the final step, which is to burn the doll used to play the game. You must follow the ending ritual or the game will never finish, and the spirit possessing the doll will stay with you until your death. Now, speaking of games involving spooky dolls, check this out. On the YouTube channel Spooky Links, host Gerald bought an allegedly haunted doll from eBay. Skeptical, but curious, he carried out an EVP session on camera. This is a technique used by paranormal investigators to try to capture unexplainable voices or sounds believed to be from spirits or ghosts. And when replaying it, things get creepy.
Do you know that you're dead?
Goosebumps? Check. Late-night doll movements? Double check. To test if it was really moving on its own, Gerald placed powder around the doll, and by midnight, it seemed to raise its head to the camera. With each eerie occurrence captured over dozens of videos, Gerald's doubts seemed to fade, but the questions remain. Is the doll truly haunted? Is this the long-term outcome of a game of one-man hide-and-seek? Or is Spooky Links simply toying with us? The sinister game known as Kokuri-san originated in Japan around the 1800s. Originally, Kokuri-san was played by balancing a rice container lid on 3 bamboo sticks. 3 to 4 people would kneel by the apparatus and place their hands on the lid with the intention to summon a spirit. The spirit, or yokai, being summoned was thought to be a peculiar hybrid of a kitsune, which is a fox-like spirit, a tengu, a goblin-like entity, and a tanuki, which is a type of raccoon-like canine endemic to East Asia. The Kokiri-san would be called down to inhabit the apparatus by saying, "Kokiri-sama, Kokiri-sama, please descend. Come now, please descend quickly." After about 10 minutes of this, the speaker would say, "If you have descended, please tilt towards so-and-so." And with the lid balanced in place, the apparatus would tilt, lifting the bamboo leg on the other side. Now, any of the 3 people can ask questions, which would be answered via the table tilting towards the various players. Today, Kokuri-san takes a different form, named Spirit of the Coin. Reportedly, in the early 2000s, this version of the game became so widespread that it sparked hysteria in the media and was subsequently banned in schools. To play this version, you will need 4 items: a piece of paper, a pen, a candle, and a silver coin. Write down the letters of the alphabet and numbers around the edges of the paper, as well as the words start, end, yes, and no at the center. To start the game, go to a dark room and light the candle, having the players focus their index fingers on the coin and placing it on the word start. Ask for the permission of the spirits and wait for them to guide the coin to the word yes. You can then ask the spirit your questions, and they will attempt to answer by moving the coins towards letters, spelling their response out to you. Be sure to have someone list the letters, as the spirit may move the coin quickly. If you wish to end the game, thank the spirits for their cooperation and place the coin on the word end. Be careful though. Given the deceitful nature of the spirit summoned, there is the possibility for mental anguish, and for your perspective to be changed for life. And even worse, it's said that if you don't end the game correctly, the spirit summoned can stay with you forever. Crossroads are often seen as places where two worlds collide with each other, lending to countless supernatural legends. The game Sujiura takes place on such a crossroad and is played to get a glimpse of your future. For this game, you will only need a comb and a face covering. Go to a dark crossroad and rub the teeth of the comb with your fingers and chant the incantation Sujiura. Sujiura, grant me a true response 3 times. Should a stranger appear, use your face covering and ask them your fortune. If they don't respond, wait for them to leave before removing your face covering and wait for another stranger to come. If you are successful, you may ask your fortune at your own risk, for the nature of what they tell you is unknown, and you may be left forever changed by their words. Once they finish speaking, you must thank them for their time, wait for them to leave, and then you may remove your face covering, ending the game. Then, the only question remaining is whether you're comfortable with what the stranger tells you, because what is learned cannot be unlearned. For those who dare to play the picture game, true fear awaits them in the form of seeing something they wish they'd never seen. To play, you need a completely dark room and a group of people. A glass filled with a beverage of some kind is placed inside a small rope circle on the floor. Everyone sits around it and joins hands. In front of each participant should be laid a small mirror facing the ceiling. One after the other, with their eyes closed, each player says the phrase, "I trust you," and then the next phrase, "The door is open. Please come in." The group can then open their eyes. Players say the atmosphere usually changes at this point. The room feels heavier, colder, or subtly off, as if someone new has entered. One by one, each person picks up the camera, points it toward the middle of the circle, and snaps a pic, after saying the words, "I caught you." Repeat until each person has taken 3 pictures, only skipping people if they begin to feel nauseous or burst into tears. The room isn't considered safe until the game has ended. To do this, the group must calmly repeat, "It's time to go home," 3 times in unison. Then each player should turn their mirror upside down, at which points the lights can be turned on, and one person can cut the rope circle, picking up the drinking glass and emptying it out somewhere. Only after this can the group look at the photos. Most are likely empty. Some may contain odd shapes, blurs, or shadows, but occasionally, the camera captures something a lot harder to explain. Some unnerving distortion of a player's face captured on the camera, a disembodied limb, or a figure lurking just beyond the edge of the circle of people. A figure who most certainly was not part of the group playing the game. To play this next game, you need only a red book and a small group of people, at least 2, but usually more. The game starts with someone placing their palm on the book and asking, "Red book, can I enter your game?" Then the player opens the book, flipping to a random page, and then reading the first sentence they see aloud. This will be the answer to the question, but it may require some interpretation. If the words seem to give the go-ahead, the players can continue asking questions and getting interpretive answers from randomly selected pages and lines. But there's one crucial rule. The game isn't over until every player asks the book, "Red book, can I leave your game?" and been granted permission to leave. The strange thing about the Red Book game is that according to reports, as the game goes on, players begin to feel as if they're being watched, and that's when the odd things start to happen. At first, it's just small things, shadows moving where there shouldn't be any, a door creaking open on its own, but as the game continues, the sensation grows. Players begin to feel a presence in the room with them, and if you break the rules, the game takes a darker turn. Some players claim the book's words begin to change, taking on a sinister quality and predicting bad things and ill omens in the player's future. Could this all be pattern seeking, where no patterns exist? Sure, but if there's any truth to the common claims that once the game is finished, many players report hearing strange noises at night and feeling a continued sense of being watched afterwards, then perhaps this book is best left closed. This next game comes with a whole other level of risk. Not only could it leave you haunted, but it could also get you arrested. Charlie Charlie is a game that made its rounds on the internet around May 2017. To play this game, place 2 crossing pencils atop a sheet of paper containing the words yes and no. Before asking questions, it's important to ask the permission of Charlie, asking him, "Are you here?" or "Charlie, can we play?" The top pencil should move by itself, with the tip pointing to his answer. Should he say yes, you are free to ask him any question answerable by yes or no. To conclude the game, you must ask his permission again, or else there will be dire consequences. The game was dismissed as a hoax by scientists, but there are a few people, specifically those from religious sects, who deem it as a real paranormal game. After Charlie Charlie exploded in popularity, the East Libyan government actually banned the game, labeling it as satanic and a threat to Libya's national security. I don't know about that, Libya, but I'll gladly take any excuse not to mess around with this stuff. Our next game, Red Door, Yellow Door, begins with 2 players. One is the guide, and the other is the traveler. The traveler lies down on their back, closes their eyes, raises their arms straight up, while the guide gently rubs their temples. The guide chants repeatedly, "Red door, yellow door, any other color door." And as the words continue, the traveler enters a trance-like state, indicated by their arms gradually lowering to the floor. Once their arms are lowered, the guide can begin to ask the traveler what they see. If done correctly, they'll describe a corridor full of doors, each leading to different rooms or scenarios. The traveler then chooses a door, describing what they see in their mind's eye. At first, everything might seem fine, but as the game progresses, the visions can become increasingly disturbing. Shadowy figures, rooms full of clocks, strange sensations, and even a man in a suit. As the traveler continues exploring, many report feeling trapped or overwhelmed by what they're seeing. Some have fainted, while others experience feelings of intense fear and panic. While the game doesn't involve summoning spirits in the traditional sense, it's said to tap into deep repressed emotions and fears. The game is sometimes described as a form of self-hypnosis or guided visualization, which can lead to unexpected psychological effects. Whether you're encountering dark corners of your own mind or something more, the game's ability to manipulate perception can leave lasting emotional scars. So, if you're thinking about trying Red Door, Yellow Door, think twice. Sometimes the mind holds things that are better left undisturbed. But you might be wondering, just how legit are these games we've discussed so far? Well, for every person sharing a terrifying account, the internet's also awash with people, quite amusingly, complaining about their ritual games not working. Believers say it's down to a matter of faith and perspective, but it's worth delving into how a lot of what we've discussed today could indeed come down to psychology and human physiology, which can be equally surprising and terrifying as the spiritual side of things. As a starting point, with games that involve an object seeming to move on its own, while people's hands are touching it, this is fairly easy to explain. All it takes is for one person to lead with a subtle push or pulling motion, whether they mean to or not, and the other players can be easily led along with it, convinced the planchette, for example, is pulling itself. Then, in the context of Ouija, it's just a matter of drifting to numbers or letters that spell out words that seem to fit the question. On the point of spirits, especially ones that seem to talk to you, it's here that a more serious warning is deserved. Playing games based around what is essentially talking directly to your own imagination has, in some cases, been known to lead to the creation of a tulpa. This is essentially the process of forming a second personality in your imagination that seems to exist independently, with which conversation is possible. While not inherently dangerous, if this kind of psychological activity gets out of hand, it can lead to a detachment from reality, and for people already prone to psychosis, can be a trigger for serious psychological episodes. This is a large part of why I gave the warning at the top of this video. Even if the ghosts and demons aren't real, not everyone's brain is equipped to handle the surrounding scenarios. With the games we've discussed, which are based in darkness, some of the bizarre shadow people sightings and seemingly unexplainable reflections in mirrors could be explained by certain glitches in the functioning of the eye. In darkness, the brain will often attempt to fill gaps in visual information, and what it fills it in with can be influenced by what a person expects to see. So if they're expecting to see an eerie, looming, shadowy figure, they might briefly do so, especially in their peripheral vision, where vision naturally lacks sharpness and accuracy. Darkness for humans isn't actually perceived as blackness, but rather a kind of dark gray TV static. And after a long period in darkness, the brain may attempt to draw patterns in this static, leading to flashes of light, shadowy shapes, and even brief hallucinations. Or at least, that's what science says about the things we've discussed today. Whether there's more to it, I'll leave that up to you. If you're hankering for more creepiness, check out this video we made. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.